After my husband passed away, the house felt too quiet, too empty. For years, I had dreamed of retiring and spending my time with my daughter, Sarah, and her family. I imagined laughter, the grandkids running around, me cooking in the kitchen again, not alone. I imagined belonging, but reality is often colder than dreams. When I called her and asked if I could come live with her after selling the house, she hesitated. I guess it's okay for a little while, she finally said. I ignored the pause in her voice. I packed up my life and moved in, thinking we would heal together. It wasn't long before the cracks began to show. Sarah worked long hours and so did her husband. The children, my grandchildren, barely knew me. They were polite but distant, as though I were just another piece of furniture in their large suburban home. And Sarah, she seemed annoyed. I just didn't think you'd need so much help, she once said after I asked if she could drop me off at the clinic for a checkup. I tried to smile. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be a burden. But I could see the words on her face even if she didn't say them. You are one. Then came that morning. I walked into the kitchen and found her sitting at the table with a paper in her hand. She looked up, not smiling. I got you a job, she said plainly. A job, she nodded. You said you wanted to help out. Well, this is how. The bakery down the street needs someone to sweep and wash dishes. Part-time. Starts tomorrow. There was a silence. My heart sank, not because of the job, but because of the way she said it. Cold, like a landlord assigning chores to a tenant who owed rent. I thought I was family, I whispered. You are, but I have my own kids to raise. I don't feed extra mouths without help. Her words were sharp, cruel, but I swallowed the lump in my throat, smiled, and said, thank you. I'll be ready. That night I didn't sleep. Not because of the job, but because of the realization that I no longer had a home in her heart. I was a guest, a cost, an extra mouth, but I had something she didn't know. And the next morning, everything began to change. The next morning, I woke up before the sun. The house was quiet, no children's footsteps, no clinking of mugs. I sat on the edge of the guest bed, my makeshift room, and stared at my wrinkled hands. Once they had held my daughter's little fingers. Once they had packed her school lunches and worked 2 jobs so she could go to college. And now, those same hands were going to wash dishes in someone else's bakery because my daughter thought I was an extra mouth. But I didn't cry, not anymore. Instead, I got dressed, put on a neat sari, tied my hair back, and took the address she had left on the counter. A little slip of paper, almost like a dismissal note. I reached the bakery at 7:30 a.m. sharp. It smelled of sugar and rising dough, warmth that reminded me of the days I used to bake for Sarah as a child. Her favorite was cardamom buns. She'd beg for them every Sunday. I pushed the door open. A young woman behind the counter looked up. You must be Mira. I nodded. I'm Eliza, the owner. Welcome. She smiled kindly, genuinely. We really appreciate the help. The job was simple. I washed dishes, wiped counters, mopped the floor, and even helped a bit with packaging pastries. Eliza never treated me like a burden. In fact, she kept bringing me little samples to try, cakes, cookies, even coffee. You remind me of my grandma, she said. Strong, quiet, graceful. That made my heart flutter in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. But then something unexpected happened. Around lunchtime, a sharply dressed man entered the bakery. He had graying hair, a leather briefcase, and a tired look on his face. The moment he saw me, he froze. Mira, I turned, squinting. Yes, he stepped closer, astonished. You don't remember me. I'm Arun Verma, from the board of Ashoka Trust. It hit me like a wave. Ashoka Trust, the NGO my husband and I helped build decades ago. After he passed, I had quietly stepped away, letting the younger generation take over. But I had remained on paper as a founding member, and a silent trustee. Oh my, I smiled softly. Arun, you've grown older. He chuckled. So have you. But what on earth are you doing here? I work here now, I said simply, wiping my hands on my apron. His smile faded. But, why? You're still the primary trustee of the Ashoka Trust. You're owed your pension, benefits, and even honorarium. Don't you know? There's a fund set up in your name, your husband's legacy. It's worth nearly $2 million. Untouched. I blinked. I didn't know. He shook his head in disbelief. Miraji, we've been sending letters for years. To your daughter's address. Didn't she ever tell you? I went still. No, she hadn't. Not a word. Arun took out his phone. I'm fixing this. Today. You deserve so much more than this. Tears pricked my eyes, not for the money, but because I realized just how deeply my daughter had betrayed me. She knew. She must have known. And she still made me feel like a beggar under her roof. That evening, I returned home, quietly, without revealing what I'd learned. Sarah was at the table with her laptop. So, how was the job? She asked without looking up. It was lovely, I replied, gently removing my shoes. Everyone was kind. That's good, she said, shrugging. At least you'll be doing something useful now. I nodded. Yes, and tomorrow will be even more useful. She looked up, frowning. What do you mean? I'm moving out. There was a pause, a blink, then a scoff. Where will you go? To a place that sees me as a person, not an extra mouth. Mom, don't be dramatic. You needed a place to stay. I gave it. You gave me pity, then turned me into a maid. She crossed her arms. You think you're entitled to everything because you raised me. That's not how life works anymore. I studied her for a moment. My daughter, my blood, was now a stranger to me. I never wanted your things, I said. Just your love. But it seems even that was too much. I walked to the guest room, packed my few belongings, and left. 2 weeks later, I stood on the balcony of my new apartment. It wasn't extravagant, but it was peaceful. Paid in full by the Ashoka Trust, which now deposited a generous monthly pension into my account. Eliza from the bakery insisted I keep visiting, even if just for tea and cardamom buns. I now volunteered part-time, tutoring underprivileged children in the area. Every child I helped filled the emptiness my daughter had left behind. One evening, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find Sarah. She looked thinner, tired, and oddly humble. Mom, she whispered, can I come in? I stepped aside. She sat on the edge of my couch, just like I once had in her home. I got a call from a man named Arun, she said. He told me about the trust, and how I had withheld your letters. I swear, I didn't think it was important. I just thought it was old stuff. No, I corrected gently. You thought I was old stuff. She flinched. Mom, I'm sorry. I was overwhelmed. The kids, the job, I just didn't think I had space for more. I didn't realize how much I was hurting you. Silence hung heavy. Finally, I said, I raised you with love, Sarah. Not to owe me, but to remember me. You forgot. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Is there any way we can start again? I looked at her, this grown woman who had once been my baby girl. Yes, I whispered, but not as mother and dependent. As equals, she nodded. Today, my life is quieter but fuller. I no longer live in someone's shadow. I'm not an extra mouth. I am a woman with a story, a purpose, and now, dignity. And every Sunday, I bake cardamom buns, not for Sarah. For the neighborhood children who call me Grandma Mira, and say I smell like cinnamon and safety. They don't know my pain. But they remind me every day that love still exists, and sometimes, it finds you in the most unexpected places.